The recording, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so tonight we are talking about chapter yearbooks, and this has been a concern um, for a lot of chapters, and the communications and marketing team. Um, we have talked about it throughout this year in our meetings. So the first thing is it's still going to be due on November 1st, 2025. Um, we refer that you email 3 PDF files, and they will be going, and this is where there's going to be a difference. The first copy goes to Molly, our state president. This year, it will also be going to Karen Dombrowski, our second VP, and then one comes to me. Um, and this is one of the seven requirements for Gold Key. So that's why it's really important. I think this past year we had two chapters that sent them via snail mail, which is fine. They just need to be postmarked by November 1st. Um, and it is really important.
Need this.
I need that too.
If you all please mute yourself, I'd appreciate that. And I'll take questions towards the end. This is really important because when we go through our emails, I use the chapter yearbook a lot. I know Molly will use it as well. In the subject line, please put your chapter name first and then followed by yearbook. Um, it just makes it easier when we're going through 60 plus emails because I keep it in a separate folder that I've created in my email account for me to look down through if I'm looking for a specific chapter. And there are examples there of how it looks. Otherwise, if you don't have it, sometimes I get this enclosed as it just says, it doesn't even say what in the subject line, it doesn't even say chapter yearbook. And I have to kind of reopen the whole email to find out what chapter it's from. So that's why we're asking anything, whether it's the chapter yearbook, your newsletter, please put your chapter name first. It makes it easier for us, the officers, when they're sorting through it. One thing that's really important is to include phone numbers with the area code and current email addresses. I use this, and how I use it is on the voice. I get a follow up once the voice goes out. I get a thing back, and it gives me how many people opened it, how many people didn't open it, how many clicks there were. But I also get a listing of the ones that bounce, which means the email, for some reason, their email address is not accurate. There have been a few instances where we have older members who are in a nursing home or no longer have access to a computer, so their mailbox is full. But so when you get ready to do your chapter yearbooks, please have your members check their email address to make sure you have the current one. Because then that saves me a step because I'll go back to your yearbook first, look to see if that's the correct email address, if that matches what I have in constant contact. If it's the same and it's still bouncing, then I'm going to contact you as a chapter president to ask, can you verify this email? And I'm going to explain why that's happening. So it's really important to have, especially current email addresses there. Another thing is if you have a chapter website, Do not post your yearbook. That information is not protected on your website. We've even seen it on the state website because we have the officers' email addresses. Um, Unfortunately, there are people out there have more time on their hands than what they know what to do with. And then we get spam mail, um, soliciting, they want to get money, they want us to pay money or whatever. So just know that those chapters that have websites, and I've looked at all the chapter websites, none of those chapter websites, even my chapter, those are not protected. Um, so personal information you do not want out there. So just keep that in mind. Required items. And it was funny because I kind of went back over the old guidelines and it never really said anything that was really required, but it was strongly, I guess, suggested to include it. This is the list of required items. Your title page, table of contents, a page that has the mission, the vision, and the purposes. I think that's extremely important that we all understand what our mission, our vision, and the seven purposes are for DKG. Membership information, chapter information, and historical information. And I'm going to get to that, but those are the main things. Chapter information, your officers, addresses. That's important that you have their address, their email address, phone numbers, so that we could, if we need to contact them for whatever reason. Um, your chapter chairman and their committee members. We do not need addresses for chapter chairman and committee members. Just list your chair, your committee chair, and their members. If you have a chapter website, your web address, that's all we need. Some chapters have Facebook pages. You can include that if you have one. Those are the types of things that are included in chapter information. In your member directory, name, address, phone number. A lot of chapters have snowbirds, people that go to Florida, Arizona, or somewhere that's warm in the wintertime, while the rest of us freeze here. So it's nice to include that. Um, Again, the email addresses and make sure you verify that they're current. Your member's professional assignment and or retirement information. So if you have someone that's still currently teaching, this, fifth grade science teacher, the school. Retirement info would just be when they retired. I know some chapters actually include the district that member retired from. That's up to you. All we want to really know is if they're retired, what year they retired. Another important thing is a year of initiation. Um, and I'll give an example of why that's important. This year, when we got ready for the celebration of life, we went back several years. And because in the program, we note whether they are a 50-year member, 60-year member, or such, or if they are a charter member.
Everything's fire for you.
Excuse me, but could you please mute your computer? Um, your year of charter members, that's very important. And so indicate if you have any charter members. Because some of the members that we were honoring in the celebration of life, when I went back through and started checking in the yearbooks, that's how we figured out that they were actually a 50 or 60 year. I found a charter member, so that's why it's important. Um, Membership classification, are they an active member, reserve, or collegiate? Because we do have chapters that have collegiate members now.
Kathy, you have, it said retired, not reserve. Do you mean both or?
Oh, yeah, I guess the reserve. Good catch there. So it should be active reserve or collegiate. Thank you. Dates to remember. As soon as these are available, they will be shared with you as soon as we know them. At this point, we don't have that information, but we will get that to you as soon as we have it, which I would think will be soon. Um, the OSO Fall Executive Board meeting, the Spring Executive Board meeting. Remember, our convention is every other year. So next spring, it will be an executive board meeting. Then we'll have the 27 Fall Executive Board meeting. And in 27, we will have our state convention. Those dates, as soon as they're available, will be shared with you. So if when you get ready to do your yearbook and it hasn't been announced, just put to be announced, and then you can share that information with your chapter, and they could fill it in their chapter yearbook. Um, the International Convention in 2026 will be in Aurora, Colorado. And in 2028, it will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Um, the odd year in 27 would be a conference, and that information wasn't available. It probably won't be announced until the international conference at the end of July, first part of August. So just those dates. And I should share with you, you will all receive an email this evening with the guidelines attached to it, everything that I'm going over. These are optional. You don't have to have these. It's totally up to your chapter, what you on these optional if you want to include it. International and state information. We are eliminating the international officers, this state information, because it can be found on the website for international and for Ohio. It's on our website, that information. International Society founders and OSO founders. That information is on the two websites. So you don't have to include it in your chapter yearbook. It's not necessary. Those take up several pages. Um, International headquarters basic contact information. Again, if somebody wants to contact International, they can go to the website and get that information. It's located there on the main page. Chapter presidents will receive a directory of all the state officers, committee chairmen, and coordinators, past state presidents, the ADS OEF board of directors. So that information does not need to be duplicated in your handbook or your yearbook. Yay. Realistically, the only people that are using that are your chapter presidents. Most of your chapter members they couldn't tell you who was, some other chapter, nor do they care. So if you want to include it, have at it, but it's not required. The Delta Kappa Gamma song. Our chapter has cards with it, with the song on it. So again, that's simply up to you. That's totally up to you whether you include it. Members' birthdays. That's an optional thing. Again, these are not required any longer. Here is a sample of the title page, and you can use any font and size that you want. I don't care. This is what your title page should have on it. Has international, when it was founded, where. Same thing with Ohio, when Ohio State Organization was founded and where. Has our website, and I see I have a typo up there. On my thing, it should be org, dkg.org. followed by your chapter name, the charter date, what city were you chartered in. If you have a website, include it. That's nice to include on it. The international theme is leading women educators impacting education worldwide with passion and purpose. Then our state theme is focus for the next 2 years. Some chapters have a very, I mean, it's just plain pretty much like this. Other chapters put roses, really go all out. That's fine. But I will suggest to you when you use color, that also increases the cost when you print, have someone print it for you. Color is more expensive when you go to print. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen and will answer anybody's questions that you have. Michelle.
Kathy.
Um, we have the Columbus chapters that do theirs together.
Yes.
And we have a back page that says important dates to remember. Is that okay for us to list the executive boards and the conventions and not have to list that in the
Yes, that's
in the
fine.
program dates? Okay.
Yeah. Because I know that works for Franklin County. So that works fine. Anyone else?
Yes, you said that we would get information about what we have in the books that would come after this session. Is that
Yes.
going to be, is that going to be the one that will still be in effect this summer and in the fall, or might there be changes?
No. This is for this coming fall, 25 through 27.
Okay.
Okay?
Is
Kathy.
this,
Kathy,
Who?
this is Jan Schulman. I don't have video, but
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I understand if we want to continue to include some of this information, that's not going to be a problem, is it? You're just
No,
saying we
that's
don't
up to
have
you.
Okay.
And then one thing that I forgot, I know a lot of chapters include their chapter bylaws or chapter rules. That's fine. That's up to you. That is not a required thing because every chapter is different. So some chapters have it and then they only print it when they change it. You know, they have a separate section in their binder.
Oh,
Our chapter uses, we have a binder and then we have, we can replace the pages. But I know, I was trying to think, I know there's one chapter, they have dividers and then they have their chapter rules behind a divider. So the only time she replaces them is when they change. That's something they don't print every year. And that's part of the reason we've eliminated it from what's required for us.
Kathy,
Yes,
Mary Bumstead, with Beta Chi.
yes,
I have a question. In our yearbook, under the international theme for 24-26, we have empowering women who educate. We will change that next year then to the women educators impacting education worldwide with passion and purpose.
yep.
All right, and if you go back to your page, education is missing the A.
Okay. In my PowerPoint,
Yes.
Kathy, is your PowerPoint going to be online?
this is being recorded, and when we're finished, I will load it to YouTube. It'll be available there as well.
Okay, because there was one page I didn't get completely done.
Oh, yeah, and I can send you I can attach the PowerPoint as well to the
Good.
email.
Kathy, Donna Myers,
Yes,
you had mentioned that we were to include the mission statement, the vision, and the purposes.
yes.
And I'm telling other chapters that why that is very important. It documents that we are a not-for-profit organization. And so when people talk to you about filing all the legalese of it, that's one of the ways you document is what your purposes are. What are you doing for it? And because we do those kinds of things, that's one of the reasons it's helpful.
Oh.
One other thing, if they don't have an email address, should we say none available?
If there isn't one, then we realize that there isn't one. You don't have to put anything.
Okay.
That'll work. Thank you. Mary Ann?
Two questions. First of all, we are not tax exempt though.
Right.
Correct? Okay.
That's correct. We're
Then
not
the other,
profit, but not tax exempt.
right. The other question is, we have in the last couple of years emailed everything but our contact information. We hand that out. But our members are happy to just get it on an email and they print out the pages they want. Is that permitted?
For your chapter, I don't care how, but when you send it to us,
Oh, yes, yes.
yeah, how you disperse it to your chapters, because I know like Gamma Phi in Cincinnati, their members very few of their members get a print version. They all get a digital version. Whereas my chapter, I tried that they weren't very receptive. I had 2 people out of 60 plus.
One more question. I remember one of the things that we were instructed to do years ago, my first round of being a president, was to send group messages in blind copy so that we don't get hacked or whatever. Is that something that we should still continue to do? I do that in my chapter.
Yeah, I would recommend that.
Okay. Now, do you do that for the voice also?
The voice goes out through Constant Contact.
Gotcha.
So when you don't see anybody, it's only addressed to you, because I had one of my first year that I was doing it, someone contacted and said that their email was at the bottom. Well, they didn't want she thought everybody was seeing it. I said, oh no, you're the only person that's coming directly just to you. You're the only person that sees it. On it has my email address. Yours would have yours.
I got you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nancy.
Which Nancy?
Nancy Waters. She's muted. Nancy, you're muted.
Now am I unmuted?
Yes.
All right. When I send my chapter book normally, and then I also use the attachment with all my members' information. Is that still the way you want me to do it?
Okay. Most chapters send it as a PDF. Everything is a PDF file. There are a number of chapters, unfortunately, that I get. And please, right now, if you use Publisher, please save it as a PDF file. I can't open a Publisher file.
Publisher will not be supported after this year either.
Yeah.
It's either this October or next October. They want
Yeah.
everyone to go to either PowerPoint or Word, which to me is inferior to Publisher, but we have to do it.
Yeah. But so I cannot open. I work on a Mac. Our president also works on a Mac, and I'm not sure what Sharon uses, Karen, sorry. We cannot open a Publisher file. So in Publisher, you can save it as a PDF.
Yes.
I do have some chapters that I get I get a title page. I get like 4 or 5 documents. I mean, it's okay, but that's it's a little bit of a hassle when I'm looking for something. I have to figure out which part of the stuff they sent me, which section it's in, rather than just opening a PDF file and being able to look at their table of contents and go to that page.
Okay,
So,
to interrupt you, I normally send my chapter book in a PDF file,
Yeah.
and I send my membership list in a PDF file at
Okay,
the
that
same
works.
time.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Kathy?
And I work on a Mac, Kathy.
Oh, okay. So we have 3 Mac users who cannot look at publisher files.
And you're
Kathy?
going,
I'm sorry.
Kathy, you're going to send everybody an email of all the information we just covered, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's scheduled to go out this evening.
Kathy, Jan Shulman again. Sorry to be a pest.
Oh, no, you're no pest.
In the list of things that aren't required, what about the state presidents? Former state presidents. We put that in our book. What about international founders and any international information? That
Does
any of
not
that
have to be in there. That's not required.
Okay.
Because you can go to the international website and there's a page that has the founders. You go to the OSO website, it has all our founders, has past presidents on there. We're trying
Yes, I
to
got it.
eliminate the duplication of a lot of information that can be easily found on the web.
Thank you. I'll try not to bug you again.
Oh, don't worry, that's no problem. Linda.
I just want to double check. Normally, you also post these guidelines on our web page. Will you be doing that also?
They are already there.
Okay, you're ahead of the game.
Well, I'm
Thank
not.
you.
Kathy Adams posted it for me.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Anyone else have a question? Michelle?
Yeah, if they have both a home phone, landline and a cell phone number, is there a way you want that delineated?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I would suggest if they have both, which number would they prefer people to call? You know, but you can
Right.
do however you want.
Okay. We just listed as home and cell, but I
That
didn't know if you
works.
guys had a preference.
Yeah, I think some people go H and then C.
Hey, Kathy,
Yes.
If someone else was besides me was speaking, they can go ahead.
Hannah Fairbanks,
Hannah?
Gamma Theta. I was just looking at ours. We have community service projects in there. That's not necessary then?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
This is Donna. I would suggest I have gotten a couple emails directly from Beverly Hall. And of course, she's the new international president. Sometimes you get emails and you go, I don't know this person. No. So I would suggest that, she's going to be contacting people just for ideas and, what do you think about? I would suggest that somewhere that might appear some way. You would think that we would be up to date on it somewhere, reading the international news from time to time. You would think, but if they would want to include it, it certainly would be possible. But that would be the only reason I'm saying, even thinking about it.
Yeah. No, you can include anything you want, but we just had those certain things that we expect that we're going to look for. We're trying to help chapters reduce the number of pages and their costs.
And that's very kind and thoughtful. You folks have done a lot of good work.
Thank you.
All
We
right,
have a
another
good leader,
question, Kathy.
Katie. Any other
Kathy.
questions?
Kathy, I have another question.
Okay,
It said
Nancy.
historical information. You said you would go over that, but what
Oh.
did you want added there?
I think historical, because that's in reference to your chapter. That would be like we have in ours. We list our chapter past presidents, our charter members, and deceased members. For your chapter.
Okay. You just
That was a
eliminated
great
a lot of work for
question.
me. Thank you.
The website is much clearer with the information that it includes for the yearbooks than what it was in the past,
Thank you.
which I appreciate because I spent a lot of time looking stuff up in the past.
Hey Kathy, let me share a few things.
Okay.
Y'all, as you know, I'm Molly, going to be president. Kathy and I are in the same chapter, and so we've spent a lot of time over the years just talking about, I don't know why they require this. I don't know why they require that. Or, that just duplicates. Why do we have to do, kind of thing. And so I think, we've tried to really think about those things. And I know Kathy will share with you. I'll say, can you write that down, Kathy, so that, we can remember that's probably something we want to do or not do. And so we're hoping that making these changes will make it easier for you guys, because we are not looking to make your lives miserable. We are not looking to have you have to do extra things, because certainly as chapter presidents, you have a lot on your plate, and you will have a lot on your plate with my presidency as well. But we will be talking about that more. I will be posting on the website as of July 1st the dates of president connections. We're going to meet with chapter presidents, and you'll have those dates. They will be varied because I want to be able to reach out and grab people that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc., so that you're not, if we have it every time on a Thursday and you can't make a Thursday, that's an issue. But I will share with you even now that if for some reason you have a conflict, you certainly want to make sure one of your officers attends, because we're gearing up for some other things. Kathy really did a great job of sharing with you how important it is to put your chapter name first. You guys, under the subject line, so huge, so huge. Okay. We don't want to see War and Peace there, but we want to see Beta Kappa chapter yearbook, kind of idea. Because it just is really a lot easier. I know when I was going through, when Kathy was helping me, Diana Haskell was helping me, trying to find, Meyer Bowers was helping us, trying to find and go back and try to find some information. We had to pull through a whole lot of different emails, because we recognize some chapter names and their chapter presidents, but like myself, I recognize that you're a chapter president, but I don't automatically think, Hannah, what's your chapter? Kind of thing. So it's just a lot easier when we have both, that chapter name first. Okay. Also, boy, when Kathy talked about privacy, you guys, some of us can be really casual about that. I am a huge, huge believer in privacy, just because of my professional career and current career. And so I want to caution you on what you're putting out there for the public to see. Okay, so be careful about that. Try to get out of the mode of, well, we've always done it this way, because unfortunately there's just a lot of ugly people out there now, and we want to protect as much as we can. Like Kathy said, I remember last year I only got, like, I think, Kathy, 2 or 3 mailed snail. If that's something that you have to do, we understand that. We're just trying to encourage people to, all of you, the rest of you, doing a great job on those electronics. But the PDF is important. The PDF is important, because, like Kathy said, I can't open it. I have an iMac, and that's what it is. And finally, let's all give Kathy a tremendous round of applause, because she just does such a fabulous, fabulous job. She's just so invaluable, just so invaluable. I tell her that all the time, but it's true. I never get tired of saying that, because she's just does so much, just does so much. So thanks, Kathy. And again, there's going to be more information about that later, you guys, but we are trying to take a hard look at the website and saying to ourselves, we don't have to duplicate DKG. We need people to start going to the DKG website. Donna Myers, thank you for mentioning, about, it's important to get on that website and see what's there. And so we're trying not to just duplicate. Okay. And so you'll see some changes on our website. But as we go along, if you have suggestions or you're thinking, wow, I wish that could happen, let us know, okay? We're very open to that. So, Kath, handing it back to you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or anything that either one of us can answer?
Lynn Kirshner.
Yes.
I was just wondering, in 2 years, when the officers change, could there be different requirements for this yearbook? Go back to all that stuff. Meeting all that stuff.
Hopefully no.
Okay.
What about past history? It has changed over the years. It has. And you don't want to say that you don't ever want it to change either.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah, it has changed drastically because I did our chapter yearbook way back in the 80s when I would type it on a mimeograph stencil and run it off on a mimeograph machine at school. So, yeah, what's been required over the years has drastically changed. I think some of it maybe when Gold Key came into play. So, hopefully, this will stay and not revert back. But I can't promise. I don't know if it's not up to me. So, Marianne?
Like I said, I didn't attend the convention. And maybe they've already been, I have not been on my computer to check after I had to do Easter. So I haven't been on the Ohio, our state website. Will there be information from the convention? More details or things that we could download and share with our members, or how is that working?
Well, the only motions that occurred was there was a chapter that dissolved. And some of the information Melody has in her article that'll be
Okay.
in the May issue of The Voice. And then we elected officers. There really wasn't, this was kind of unusual because I've been to conventions before where there have been a lot of motions and we just didn't have that. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Meyer?
Yes, there will also be the minutes sent electronically to all the officers and chapter presidents.
Oh, good.
It is taking a bit of time, a bit more than usual, because some of the people who needed to give me some additional information have had some illnesses in their family, and it's being held up a bit. And then it'll go to those who read it and review it to see if I have it accurate. And then I will get it to Kathy, who will send it out to all the chapter presidents.
Mary?
I just want to tell you what a wonderful convention you ladies put on. It was very well run and just beautiful all the way through. It's the first time I've ever been to one. So kudos to all of you. You did a great job. And the other thing is on your Facebook picture of all the officers, if you like Marianne, if you wanted to see, they have a beautiful picture and they're all listed on there. So go onto the state Facebook and it's right there. And then I have one question. Why do we have our biennium on even numbered years when the state's on odd numbers? So we start off and then halfway through, we switch over to, new incentives and new everything.
I'll let Meyer answer that one.
Okay. When you first encounter that, you think it's very odd, but as you think through, it makes more sense. The chapters and the international officers bienniums are the same 2 years. And the concept was that the international officers would have a year to learn their roles and their jobs, and then they could assist the state officers in learning their roles and what to do. And the state officers would have a year before they were helping the chapters. So initially, it's like, what is going on? But when you begin to think it through, you can understand how they came up with that so that we aren't all being brand new in our jobs at the same time.
All right, thank
Does
you.
that make some sense?
Yes, it does.
And you know,
Okay.
Mary, the nice thing too is just like myself having two sets in my biennium as president, an opportunity to see two different presidents within that same chapter. You know, it's nice, you know, I have this relationship that you've established with this president, and then you inherit, you know, you get a new set. And I think that really makes it nice too for the whole leadership potential. I know that there are chapters, you guys, and we have the list and everything else, and how often some of you, just like myself, have rotated through being president again. Some of you have really have stepped up, and it's like, okay, fourth term. So it's interesting, but yeah, it is. That was weird to me too when I first came into the DKJ. It's like, why is it different? But it really does make a lot of sense.
All right, thank you.
It also provides stability in the sense that there are people that are confident in their jobs after they've served a year, so that not everybody is new all at the same time. You're absolutely right, ladies.
Michelle,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Gamma Lambda chapter up where the weather has been beautiful, but it's too early to put anything in the ground yet. I just added a ton of stuff. I have done the yearbook for I don't know how long. And I mean, I had to, you know, reduce the type and make sure all these addresses and stuff was right. I just want to know for sure. I'm going to go through and I want you to tell me for sure. I do not have to put the Ohio State organization officers in there anymore.
No, it's on the website.
Okay, I know it's on the website, but I was told I had to put it in the book a while ago, and I followed directions. How about the Ohio State organization founders?
No.
Okay, I'm making X's. Ohio State organization business. That's all the communications, marketing editor, webmaster, etc.
No.
Committee chairman, no.
Okay, wait a minute, got another page. Ohio State Organization Board of Directors.
No.
And the international officers.
No.
Okay, you just made my life a lot easier. Thank you.
That was the thing is, chapter presidents will all receive a directory that will have all that. So,
and my thinking was just like yours, like if we need the information, we go to the website. But we were told, I don't know how many years ago it was, that all had to be in there.
Yeah.
And that was something I added. So just, I don't want to get in trouble. So I put the X's. Thank you.
You're welcome, Michelle.
Yeah, it also might be how many older chapters you have that aren't really good at emails and while going to websites on having it in print may be beneficial for some of the older chapter members. So that would just be one thing. And one thing we added was at the end of it, it said, please dispose of this book in a secure manner to protect the personal information listed within. And we actually put that on our red book because not everybody remembers you've got all this contact information and it's just don't toss it in the garbage. You need to shred it to protect personal information. So that's just a suggestion.
Thank you. That is a good idea because I shred everything.
That is good information.
Anybody else have a question or a comment they'd like to make? Okay. Well, I thank you so much for attending this evening and asking your questions because that's how we all learn.
Well, thank you for being such a good editor.
Thank you.
We do
And
appreciate.
always, yeah. Whenever I email you, you give me a response immediately, and it's not a week later. Oh, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Kathy, your presentation was well done, and I know that we have all learned, and we are ready to start our next year's by our handbook, which a lot of you were here for. I think the thing that I hear and I try to remember is change does occur. And so when change occurs, we just go with it and we do it. And this time the change is less. It means less work. So I think that's a positive. The other thing is that we do have 2 more Zoom sessions. One will be I'm on the right day. Yes, next Tuesday with Michelle. And Michelle Koenig is going to be talking about butterflies, and I get excited when I hear that. And then there's one more that is on May 1st, and Dr. Johnson is one of Melody's colleagues. And Melody, would you like to say a little bit more about him? Because people have not heard it much yet. It will be coming out. I know Melody's on.
Yes, it's Dr. Jason Johnson,
Thank you.
and he is a principal in Columbus City Schools. He is a wonderful principal, and I think that you will enjoy what he will be discussing. He has a PhD, and he'll be coming on and discussing some of his findings about that. Uh, I don't have my notes in front of me right now. Sandy, you have all that information, but he will be discussing his findings about that. So you will want to hear. He has just a very interesting scope of knowledge in dealing with high schoolers, and you will want to come and hear what he has to say. He is just a delightful person, and I think that you will enjoy hearing some of his findings that he did when he was getting his PhD, as well as how he works with high schoolers in the Columbus City urban community. So you don't want to miss him. He is a wonderful educator.
Melody, thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but yes, I do have the information, and yes, it's going to come out with the information about signing up to join that Zoom on May 1st. So Kathy has it, and it will be coming out. And that will be the end of our Zooms as far as I know it. And remember, why we've had these Zooms is the extension before and after convention. So this is really part of convention yet, because these have all been the breakouts that we would have had if we would have been a long weekend, and you would not have been able to go to near as many, because some of us have been to every one. And with that, I'll be quiet and wish you all a really good rest of the week and have a good weekend, and we'll see you later. And again, thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.